So anyway, the Secretary of State in America, a guy called Blinken, refuses to rule out US military involvement in Ukraine and warns of massive consequences for Russia if it invades. Well, massive consequences in return. And he says that the Kremlin is just going through the motions of diplomacy and doesn't really mean it. Because what the Russians have said is, look, we are concerned that the former Warsaw Pact countries along our border that have joined NATO and are now being armed to the teeth by NATO right on the Russian border. And now the talk is of Ukraine, which is very antagonistic to Russia, joining NATO. And what the Russians have said is stop putting all these weapons of aggression in the countries along our border and don't let Ukraine into NATO, and then everything will be fine. But NATO, of course, have rejected that. So there's 8,500 American troops that have been put onto high alert, and the European countries are talking about doing something similar. And the media is pushing this, always big red flags. The neocons behind the invasion of Iraq and the other devastation in the Middle East, like in Libya and Syria, they're pushing it through people like Bill Kristol and David Frum, who absolutely were at the center of selling the catastrophic wars in the Middle East after 9/11. And the whole of the political system, it seems, with one or two exceptions in America, is also pushing it. We must protect Ukraine. Personified by Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, who is pushing a bill through, or trying to, that makes the border of, or the borders of Ukraine sacrosanct, must be defended, so that this thing can be ramped up. But the southern border of the United States is wide open. 2 million undocumented migrants crossed in the last calendar year. And she's cheering at that. So obviously, it's nothing to do with borders. It's to do with this current situation. And the US Embassy has ordered evacuation of non-essential staff and diplomats and family members from the Ukraine. And at the same time, the Russian Embassy in Washington has called on the West to end the hysteria, assuring that there are no plans to invade Ukraine. Earlier in the week, it issued a message on Twitter saying, "We stress once again, Russia is not going to attack anyone. The practice of moving troops on our own soil is a sovereign right." But it's being ramped up, and that will be for a cult agenda reason. We'll see how it plays out.